Yes,
And it's
exactly.
never enough. It's never enough.
And it's leading to a collapse of the old system. And as the system starts to collapse, people are realizing they cannot trust their bankers. They cannot trust their religious leaders.
Right.
They cannot trust anyone outside of themselves.
Yes.
So they have to go with their own inner conscience.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And this will cause people to grow up.
Yes.
Let's not look outside of ourselves for someone to save us. Let's realize that each of us has a responsibility to step forward.
Yes, absolutely. You know, we are our own, we have to be our own fathers and mothers in a sense.
Yes.
Many of us came from dysfunctional childhoods, and our parents were not really functional, so we were left at, the age of 8 or 9, so we actually have to be our own parents literally, and that can be a difficult job when you have such terrible role models all over the world. But it can be done.
But it can be done, and this is the thing to remember. And there are enough role models of people who are doing it.
Yes. And
it's never too late either. You know, this thing about, I'm too old to change, or I've failed too many times to ever succeed. I mean, this is garbage. That might be. I mean, we see people changing on their deathbed, right?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
So I always say, let's die before we actually die. Let's let that old part die so that we could actually use some productive years to get on with it.
Right. Well, some people suggest we do our life review as soon as possible so that we can move on. That people have near-death experiences, have a life review on the other side. Well, there are those who come back, they say, well, do it now. Have your life review, do your life review, examine your life for what it is, and tell yourself the truth, and then move on.
Exactly.
And accept it all as it is, and don't judge yourself. And that's the way, and forgive yourself for those things that you feel you did wrong.
Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you fully on that, man.
Yeah. So, this is a school of learning, but like I said, it does seem that time is running short. And but maybe we're being pressed against the wall, and change is something that happens when we are pressed, like a diamond becomes a diamond when it's heated to a certain point.
Yes, and I remember Maharishi, who founded TM, he always said that if only 1% of people meditated, that the whole consciousness of humanity would click over, right, into a higher state. And I really believe that this is what is happening. We don't have to get to 100% of people shifting. It's a relatively small amount of people will actually shift the consciousness of the entire race.
Like the 100th monkey theory.
Like the 100th monkey. That's right.
Yeah.
And you can see how the spiritual books, for example, are the largest growth industry in books. Well, why is that? Or someone like an Oprah, and look at what she has done.
Well, we've been in a spiritual desert. We've been kept it seems that it's been ignored for quite a few years, and we just have reached a point where we can no longer, we can't go on like this. We've reached the end of the line in terms of what we can do in the material world. It's time to turn away from the material world and, work on the spiritual realms. the material world will take care of itself.
I think that's true. A lot of people, when I'm doing workshops, it's very, very common for people to say that they just can't keep up anymore, and that there's too many changes, too much pressure, too much stress, too many rules and regulations by the government, and and forms to fill out here, there, and everywhere, and they just cannot keep up. And it's this domino effect where people are starting to crumble under this pressure. You can see that in the States with what happened to your whole housing market. And when you have the weaker ones who crumble, then it falls to the middle group that used to be able to do it, but now they can't do it anymore, and so they start to crumble, and then there's just the very few who can still hold these systems together, and pretty soon that's going to crumble too.
That will crumble too, yeah.
That will crumble too. Yeah. So we're really moving into a time of the unknown and a time of chaos. Now, people fear chaos because it isn't known, it's unpredictable, and yet from chaos is where we're going to birth new experiments and new ways of doing things. And we just have to be kind to ourselves and others, I think, as we go into this period of chaos, and not look for the ultimate answer, but just say, I'm experimenting.
Right.
I'm doing the best I can. I'm an experiment, and you're an experiment, and we're experimenting here.
Right, exactly. Let's have fun with it.
Let's have fun with it. And the Buddhists have a wonderful expression. It's, that we just have to show that we have right motivation for our actions. And that is all any of us can say. I say, to people, I don't need to be perfect. All you need to see is that I am doing the best I can, and I have right motivation for my actions.
And that's something only we can know.
That's right. That's right. And other people, as they get to know us, they learn to trust that as well.
Right. When they can see that your intent is good, and consistently good, that it's not selfish, and you're not manipulating, and you're not lying or greedy or corrupt, then, they begin to realize that, yes, that's somebody you can count on. They keep their word, and when they give it to you, it's good, it's solid.
That's right, and if we also are not defending our weak areas, but perfectly, I just come right out and say what I'm not good at, and and when I don't know something, I've got nothing to, so then people can tell that if I say I do know something, I've already admitted what I don't know.
Right. I love people like that, because then they're telling the truth.
That's right.
And it makes it so much more fun anyway. I love it when people admit their faults. One thing that I wanted to ask you, I'm going to throw this out there. Now, when you first went to this beautiful little cottage in Ireland that you didn't know was haunted and was on a haunted lane and filled with leprechauns, your purpose, your intent, was to gain enlightenment.
Yes.
Tell us what happened to that intent, and have you gained enlightenment since?
Oh, boy, that's a really interesting question. Dare I tell the absolute blanket truth on air? What happened was, I said at the end of the book that I did not become enlightened. What I did not say, that is the truth, but what I did not say is that it was because they did not consider that I would stay on the earth and continue to serve and help if I became enlightened. I would choose to leave. And at that moment, they didn't feel that my commitment to stay was strong enough for me to become enlightened.
Oh my, isn't that it?
That is no longer a difficulty, let's say, in my life.
Yeah.
I am totally committed and have been for many years. So, but at that time, they needed me more here than to leave. And I believe that that isn't just my story, that there are a lot of people who, in another time, would become enlightened, but this isn't the time for it. This is the time to stay here and function. Drive our cars, pay our taxes, write our books, go to work, and do the best we can.
Yes, very good answer. Very good. I would never even have thought of that. There's so many people that are holding the space for others to gain information, such as yourself, and I think each one of us is so vital, even the ones that don't appear to be doing anything visibly. They might just be washing dishes or working at a McDonald's or something, but they're here holding a vibration that is necessary.
Absolutely.
So each one of us is valuable in that sense. So
absolutely, and we can't judge. We cannot know by looking at the outside package of a person.
That's right.
How they are serving.
Absolutely right. Well, Tanis, this has been an absolutely wonderful conversation, and we're almost at the end of the hour, so I wanted you to have a chance to mention your website and your books or any places where you'll be appearing, and before we get off the air.
Well, my two books, Summer with the Leprechauns and Pilgrimage with the Leprechauns, if people are interested. I've got a new one coming out, Lance, probably in about another month or two, called Decoding Your Destiny, Keys to Humanity's Spiritual Transformation.
Oh, good.
And, so it's... actually, it's about what we've just been speaking on, so that's very interesting. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. And I am doing a workshop on elementals in Vermont, Cali, Vermont, on October 1st and 2nd. And the name of the organizer, her name is Gail England. I'll give the phone number in case anybody's interested. 802-223-1730. And people can go on either my Tanis Helliwell website or the International Institute for Transformation website. And thank you for having me on. It's been a wonderful time talking with you. And once we hang up, you can tell me about the bathroom experience.
I'll relay that psychically, if you don't mind.
Okay. Okay.
All right, and come back anytime, Tanis. I can't wait to read your next book, and I loved both of your Leprechaun books. They were wonderful.
Oh, thanks, Lance. Good work you're doing. Thanks again.
Thank you, and good night.
Good night.